Okay, so guys, good evening, and I welcome you all to the exclusive discussion with Dr. Grace Mary. She is here with us. First of all, before I start anything, I would like to congratulate her for the achievement. We are very proud that you have cracked the cell, and now the way will be open for all the budding pharmacists and pharmacies who wants to grow in the clinical settings. So thank you very much for accepting our invitation, Dr. Grace.
Thank you very much for your encouraging words. Thank you.
So today's session is because her result was declared on 19th November, I think 2 days back. So immediately we caught her, fortunately, because she is working in the Believers Hospital, and one of my classmates, my friend, Dr. Srijit, is also working there. So I, caught her, and we are very happy to have her here in this, session. She'll be telling all about the process, and this session is exclusively, we all will be discussing only about BPS. And we have taken many questions from the audience during the registration as well. So I'll be asking your questions, and you can even talk to her at the end of. Okay, everyone. So let me introduce her. She has, done her PharmD in 2015 from PSG College of Pharmacy, Coimbatore, and then she has been into the infectious diseases for a couple of years, and recently she has cracked, as I told you, day before yesterday or 2 days back, her result got declared from BPS. So now she is BPS certified pharmacist for BPS certified specialist for infectious diseases. And about her experience, if I tell, she's working as she has worked as clinical pharmacist observer at Tufts Medical Center, Boston, USA, from 2017 July to August for 1 month. Then she worked in infectious disease, worked as infectious disease clinical pharmacist at Christian Medical College, Vellore, CMC Vellore. Then she moved to Believers Church Medical College Hospital from January 2016, and she's working there as infectious disease clinical pharmacist. And she is also, working as a head of department for clinical pharmacy. So I again congratulate you and welcome you to this exclusive discussion, Dr. Grace.
Thank you so much for your welcome.
So we'll be starting with the few of the questions. Yes. But before I go to the audience questions, I would like to tell everyone, because that was the common question we got in our registration form about the streams what BPS provides and about the fee. So fee for exam is 600 USD, and if you fail the exam, you have to pay $300 to retake the exam. Okay, guys, 600 USD. And re-exam, if you fail, is 300 USD. And there are multiple streams, under BPS where you can go for the certification, like ambulatory care pharmacy, cardiology, compounded sterile preparations, critical care, emergency medicine, geriatrics, pediatrics, nuclear pharmacy, infectious diseases, oncology, and pharmacotherapy also. Under that, they have added 2 more qualifications: psychiatric and solid organ transplant pharmacy. So these were the basic questions what our people were asking. But after that, I would like to go to the first question, and this question is from Sasikant Kharat from DY Patil Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, Pimpri, Pune. So he wants to ask about what is the BPS and what is its significance.
Okay, thank you for that question. So BPS, I think like at least most of you might have checked in the Google what BPS stands for. It's the Board of Pharmacy Specialties, and it is the official board. It's actually the only board that gives worldwide clinical pharmacists the recognition for being a board certified pharmacist. So basically, they give the gold standard that if you pass this exam, if you're a board certified pharmacist in that areas that Dr. Ajit said right now, you are going to give clinical expertise, and you are expected to deliver excellence in the area that you are going to practice. So board certification is, see, this is very common, especially in the America, because it's not just for the pharmacy. There are American boards that are there for doctors even. So for them to crack the exam, it actually puts them at the highest level possible. And it actually announces to the whole world that if she is a board certified pharmacist, she is good. Okay, so that's what the general idea of the whole thing is. So many people who have been asking me what this BCPS certification gives. So there is BPS, BCPS, okay. BPS is Board of Pharmacy Specialty, BCPS is Board Certification in Pharmacy Specialty. Both are the same. So yeah, most of the people, they were asking me, what does this mean? Because especially to our non-pharmacy people, non-pharmacy colleagues, like the nursing, like the doctors, like even my HR manager, she met me today and asked me, Grace, what does this stand for? So I think the easiest way to explain is that, like, you take MBBS, you take MD, you take your DM. Okay, so if you see in BCPS, there are 14 specialties, but out of that, one is BCPS. One is BCPS is the board certified pharmacotherapy specialist. Okay, so pharmacotherapy is like the MD kind of thing, and this other specialties are kind of the DM kind of thing. You know, you need more experience to write those exams than the pharmacotherapy. So for writing the shall I say all that right now, or do you want me to stop right here?
Fine, you please go ahead.
Okay, so in
I think her internet is having some problem, maybe. Okay, so I think we lost her. Hi, Dr. Grace. Okay, so you can unmute yourself, Dr. Grace.
Sorry, I got a call.
And I think we lost you for 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes.
Okay, so where did you last hear me?
I think you were, discussing about the streams, about the, about the MD and DM.
Yeah, so basically I would say that BCIDP, the infectious disease pharmacist board certification that I took, is quite equivalent, not equivalent, but for others to understand, it's more like a DM because you're specializing in a specific area. So that is one thing. Then the other thing I was telling you is that usually in US, the PharmD system is not like ours. Most of the states, they have something called as a pre-pharmacy. That is also applicable for medicine. That is pre-medical is also there, pre-dental is there. So it's usually, if you can put it, after your 12th, like that, they have the grading system there after their high school and after graduating that senior years. You go and take pre-pharmacy, which the state will be providing for 2 years. And after the 2 years, you do a 4-year course in pharmacy graduation. That is the PharmD there. So that is 2 plus 4. Pre-pharmacy 2 years plus 4 years PharmD. That is a 6 years of pharmacy training that they have in the US. So once you have passed the PharmD exam, the 4 years PharmD exam, you are a pharmacist. But for you to practice as a pharmacist, just like what we have, for us Indians to practice as a pharmacist, we have to take a licensure. So I have taken the Kerala state licensure, and I'm sure you guys, once you pass, you have to take your state specific licensure. So that licensing exam is the NAPLEX. So once they complete the PharmD and once they are through the NAPLEX exam, they are licensed pharmacist. Okay, and they can work in the community pharmacy, the hospital pharmacy, in dispensing, all these usual things that we do. Most likely a B Pharm graduate does. They do in the US after taking the PharmD. So if you want to be a clinical pharmacist, if you want to actually work as a clinical pharmacist, they have something called PGY1 and PGY2. that is postgraduate year 1, postgraduate year 2. So postgraduate year 1 is like your MD training, where you go through the basic specialties like the general medicine rotation and all those rotations that you have, the advanced pharmacy practice rotations you have there, and the PGY2. Again, these are all 1 year long postings. So PGY1 is more like the after MBBS, the MD general medicine, and PGY2 is kind of like the specialty. Which one you want to specialize in, you take it. So many takes the infectious diseases. So they are thoroughly posted with the HIV clinic, the hepatitis clinic, then the antibiotic stewardship, all these, outpatient antimicrobial therapy, all these things they get posted. And so that's how they complete their second year of post-graduation, PGY2. So usually this exam is taken by those who have completed the PGY2. The BCIDP exam that I'm talking about, the one that I got, it's usually after the PGY2. So once you have passed your post-graduation year 2, this is in US, you can do that. But we don't have that system here, right? We have only the PharmD system where we are completing 6 years and that's it. We don't have PGY1 and PGY2. We don't have the American board certified institutions where they give, except I think JSS has, they have in Renal, they have the American certified fellowship where you can take, I think you can, I'm not very sure.
They have in oncology, I feel, right now.
Yes, I think they have oncology and renal, I think. 2, I think they are having, but I'm not sure. Okay, let that you guys can see from your colleagues. So this is how it normally works there. And because we don't have the system here, what our prerequisite to take this exam is that, as I told you, there is BCPS, that is board certification in pharmacotherapy, and the other specialties like cardiology, pediatrics, infectious diseases, and all those specialties. You need clinical experience. To take the pharmacotherapy, you need at least 3 years of clinical experience. 3 years you should have. That is post-licensure. That's why I always tell my interns, whenever you are getting graduated, the first thing you have to do is get your license. Because if you don't get your license, but you get into a job, you are delaying your processes, because your experience is not counted till you have your license. So always get your license first. Immediately after your graduation, go eat the brain of your college officials. Doesn't matter, it is for your own good. You have to take your license. So once your license is through, then onwards your clinical experience is being counted, and 3 years you need to write the board certification for pharmacotherapy. But if you want to take a specialty, you need 4 years. Okay, so for me, I must meet 4 years post licensure. I should have 4 years of experience in infectious diseases. So then the other question is, so that means, do you have to spend full time in infectious diseases all these 4 years to write this exam? You don't have to, but at least they are mentioning you must have 50% of your time spent in that specialty. So 4 years, at least in that 4 years, you have to have 50% time spent in each year. So then the again question would be, if I do 2 years full infectious diseases, can I apply for the license? I'm not license, the board certification. No, you can't. You need 4 years with 50 years minimum. It doesn't matter if you have 100% in 4 years. That's what I did. And so you need 4 years. Therefore, from your graduation, from your licensing, 4 years of clinical experience is what is required as a prerequisite to even apply to this board certification. So I think that is the
So I would like to,
application.
I would like to add one more thing to this question. What is the importance of BCP in India?
Yes, I will tell you this. When I passed PharmD from PSC, PSC is one of the good institutions that, because I've seen kids from all over India who are coming to me for internship, for training. They don't give any kind of training to these children. They don't give, there's no exposure to the doctors, no exposure to the patients. But PSC, to me, I feel that PSC usually gives you the best in their whatever they can give. They usually offer us, their students, to go and see the patient to have the clinical exposure. It's up to you whether you want to do it or not. You can, if you want to dunk, you can. But see, what happens is that our pharmacy curriculum, our PharmD curriculum, is not vertically integrated. I would put it that way. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So what I mean by vertical integration is that we are learning microbiology, right? In your second years. What are we learning? Sterilization and all those things we are learning. But how do you put that into the practice? If I ask you, I think, may I ask Dr. Rajat, like this audience that I'm addressing, who are these? Are these interns? Are these graduates?
Yes, definitely you can ask. People, you can
No.
answer, guys. There are, I think we have full, so all 100. So guys, please answer.
Interns.
Okay, you're mostly interns. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, we are interns.
Okay. So when you're doing your internship, because the reason why I was telling you this is that you know that our PharmD curriculum doesn't have any application level wise. If you ask me, there is nothing much. Okay, so you study microbiology, but if I ask you, all the interns who are here, can you tell me the gram-positive and the gram-negative organisms? Can you tell me the resistant mechanisms of, like, let me just ask you out of the blue. I think earlier when compared to our, this is like 6 years back, 5 years back when I was doing my internship, when you ask a person what Pseudomonas is it a gram-positive or a gram-negative? Do you know whether it's a Pseudomonas is a gram-positive or a gram-negative?
Gram-negative.
Okay. What about Acinetobacter?
Gram-negative.
Again, gram-negative. What about Enterococcus?
Again, gram-negative, I guess.
Gram-positive.
That's a gram-positive. See, the thing is, we are not confident enough to answer these questions, right?
Yes.
So that is unacceptable to anyone who is a PharmD in the US. These kinds of things are the base. Okay, so we study a lot, and we study only for the exams. We don't study for the clinical practice. When I started off, I think I did my internship to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my efforts. I did go with the doctors, I did the interactions and all that. At that time, I felt that, okay, I have done something when compared to, the other batchmates and all. I know that, I have tried my level best to do justice to my internship. But then the problem was that when I got into this job, when you're going for rounds, you as an intern, you should think yourself as an intern. Think you're going with the doctor. You're always scared, what is that doctor going to ask you? Because you don't feel confident enough to answer that question. Whatever question it is, you'll have to refer and tell them. Most of the questions they ask, we don't have an answer. So our PharmD curriculum has a big, there are so many big gaps in the clinical practice. So it actually leaves you, broken in a way, disabled in a way, because you're not confident after doing your 6 years of the so-called PharmD. You don't know how to answer the doctor. You don't know the basics. If I ask you, well, how do you classify the liver disease, or how do you classify mild, moderate, severe cirrhosis? Do you know the Child-Pugh score? Do you know how to calculate the renal dosing of meropenem, just like that? All these things are the skills that we need to practice, which we don't usually get from our training.
Yes.
So when I first finished my internship, I felt so inferior. I thought I knew, but that is one major mistake that we all do, because we think we know, but we actually don't know anything. Because when you see these doctors, they are actually studying with the patient, and you are studying with the file, and the file will not tell you anything good. Okay, it's just you're going through the file. Nothing good registers in your mind. But for the doctors, they live in the ward, they live with the patient, they see how the patient is, see how the patient responds to medicines, all these things. So that gives them confidence to treat a patient. But when it comes to us, we only go through the files. We don't do any good patient interaction. All these things are quite disturbing, because at the end of the whole thing, we are nothing. So when I did that, when I completed my internship, that's what I felt, that I didn't know enough. And to me, antibiotics was a big thing, because my cardiothoracic surgeon, when I was doing my internship, he gave me one project to do with the surgical site infection. That's how I even got into this antimicrobials, this antibiotics, because I hated antibiotics. It was too complex for me to understand during my internship. But through practice, while I was going through the case files, I slowly started to learn about antibiotics. But then again, the problem is, when do you ask a doctor to stop one medicine, to add one medicine, which one to add to this patient? You know nothing. So I always felt that I didn't have enough knowledge in me to help the doctor, because we are here as healthcare providers and not auditors. This is something that I tell all my interns. You are not an auditor. You are not there to audit what the doctor does is right or wrong, but you are there to help your doctor in making the right decisions, whether to add an antibiotic, whether to delete one, and all these things. You are helping them. You are not auditing them. So I joined Believers in 2016, 1 month after completing my graduation, 1 month after passing out from PhD. And my director is the most supportive person I've ever seen. And I must say that it is because of his support and my family support that I am what I am today. So he actually got me one doctor, that is Dr. George Abraham from the US. He's an infectious diseases physician who gave me that 1 month antimicrobial stewardship training observership at Tufts Medical Center. Tufts is one of the best centers in the world. And I spent 1 month at Tufts Medical Center. And actually, if I tell you, I was so disappointed with the way I was when I compare with them, because what they say doesn't even make any sense to me, because I can't relate to their level. So I didn't know what to learn when I went to Tufts. They were like high level stuff, high level things that they were doing, and I couldn't do any of that. So I always felt that it made me even feel inferior. So then again, with the help of my director, he was a previous director of CMC Vellore. So he sent me to the infectious disease department at CMC, and I did a 7-month certification course in infectious diseases and antimicrobial stewardship, because I always felt that I was not confident enough to do any of this as a stewardship pharmacist or an infectious disease pharmacist. So going to Vellore really opened my eyes, because while I was running behind antibiotics all the time, I knew that there are so many antivirals, there are so many viruses, so many fungals, so many and antifungals and fungus, HIV, TB, all these complicated diseases that I need to break. So that again helped me improve my perspective as to how much I have to learn to help these doctors. If I want to be with an infectious diseases physician, I should be able to tell them which hepatitis C drug is going to interact with what medication, what level to check, or the HIV or the hematopoietic, this stem cell transplant doctor, all these things. If I don't learn, I can never help them. And I never felt confident enough to tell a doctor, sir, can we do it like this? Because I didn't know. I knew they knew better than me. When it comes to drugs, my doctor knew better than me, that I know. So this BCPS, what it has done for me is that bridge that gap. Because I must tell you, it is one of the toughest exams that I have personally written. And the preparation also took me so many months to prepare for this exam. I took 1 month full leave just to study for this exam, which again, my director sanctioned. He said, don't come to the hospital, you go study, do whatever you have to, just break this. And that 1 month, I tried my level best to study, but I'll tell you what happened during the exam day, because the BCPS, they have for each specialty, they have the syllabus, which says if you're taking infectious diseases and cardiovascular, these are the goals that you must meet. When it comes to CNS, these are the diseases that you must learn, the goals and everything, they set it very correctly. But for my exam, I must say that I felt more than 20% of the questions came out of syllabus. Travel medicine was never mentioned in their syllabus. And I was asked about Ebola, I was asked about Zika, I was asked about malaria. And if you see the BCPS question, it's not a straightforward question. It's like this funny, big case that they'll give you. And then at the end of that case, you are asked, how do you do this? How do you do that? So for you to answer that question, you have to know the inside out of that disease. Otherwise, you can never answer that question. So it is, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm only trying to prepare you. It is a very difficult exam, but if you prepare, you will pass. I actually thought I will not pass the first time because it was too tough for me, despite preparing quite well. And I'll tell you, I first did one whole, I went through the full portion once. And then I felt, the thing is, while I was studying, I was thinking, oh my God, this is what I wanted to study for a long, long time. And this is what I'm studying. I'm studying the Infectious Disease Society of America guidelines. I'm studying all the best trial data. I am studying about the drugs, the new drugs that have come, the new trials that have been performed. Everything is there in that whole topic that you want to study. If you want to study meningitis, there is viral, there is bacterial, there are the trials, there are the drugs. If you want to study about the skin and soft tissue, there are some, I would say, some 10 new drugs that I have never even heard of that were there during this thing. So all I wanted ever to learn after my family, I got it in this one. So that's what BCPS does to you. It gives you confidence because you study a lot. So why it is needed? Because you will be a confident clinical pharmacist once you're done through. Because if the board wants to certify you as a board certified pharmacist, you have to rise up to that level where you can answer those questions.
Yes. So I think we got the answer for Mardula Saji from Nehru Pharmacy, that she was asking, is it necessary to be registered pharmacist in India for BCP? Yes, it is necessary. And after 3 years of the state licensure, only you can for the BCPS. Okay, so I'll go for the next questions. So Dr. Linu, I think from your Believers Medical College only, she has the similar question, how to prepare for the exam. And then Almaza Lakshmi from Ajitachan College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, she is asking about the preparations and procedures. And Dr. Rakhi Sopan Gaikar from DY Patil, again, how to apply for the American Board of Pharmacy Specialists and what are the all procedures in layman language to be carried out.
Okay, so I think I'll go with the procedure first.
Yes.
So for the procedure, first thing that you'll have to do is, there is this board certification, BPS site is there. You have to go and create a login and a password for your account, which is free. You don't have to pay anything for that. You have to, but have a BPS account. So in that account, you can add your details like where you're from, what you're doing, all those things. They'll ask specific questions which you can fill in, and you have created a profile, and they will give you a number which would. So I think mine was some India, like for India, IND00 something like that. One number you'll get. So once you get that, you can in there, but without registering, without having an account, you won't be able to see all these things that I'm trying to tell you. So you first register in that BPS portal, and you can, on the left side, you will see that apply for certification. So in that apply for certification, they will ask you for a lot of things, which includes your state licensing So let's, for example, the Kerala State Pharmacy Council license that I have to upload that. Whatever licensing I have to upload that. Whatever experience I have to upload, which I should, they'll ask how many % of time did you spend in research in this thing. You can just type in that percentage that you've spent in that each year, first year, second year, third year, fourth year. So that also you can, but you need your employer's attestation. That means I took it from my director saying that Dr. Grace Mary John has done so and so. She has been working as a clinical pharmacist in infectious diseases from 2016 till date, and she has done 100% of time, all these things. There is a sample letter that you can get it from the BPS website itself, which says what to write, what should be the content. So you have to get that letter from your employer. Then, so licensing, the experience. The third thing that you need is your transcripts. So that's where I actually thought I won't be able to write this time, because I belong to the Tamil Nadu MGR University, which is like this biggest university in South Asia. So they take a lot of time to give me the transcripts, and because it's COVID, I couldn't go. They had to, I mean, all these online thing and everything had to be done. So you need transcripts from your university, and you cannot receive that. You have to straight away send the transcript. You have to tell the university guys that this transcript has to go to this address.
Yes.
From the university, you have to directly send your transcript to the US. So within that deadline, you have to do it. So what I would suggest is that before even applying, get your transcripts. First, have your login, your account ready. Then apply for your transcript before the window actually opens, because they have two windows. They have spring and fall. The spring usually happens in April to May, and the fall usually happens from August to September. So these are the two exam windows. So prior to this window, they'll have a like 1 month or so. They have this time where you can apply for certification. So during that time, you have to make sure that your transcript reach there. Okay, you have to transcript reach the US on time. So that is something that I really struggled, but with God's grace and with a lot of help from a lot of people, I was able to pull my transcript off and send it to the US on time. So these are the major 3 things that I remember that you have to upload. Whatever things you need, they will ask like segment by segment, upload this, upload that, all these things you have to. So what I would suggest for you is that in the Board of Pharmacy Specialties website, there is something called a foreign graduate, this guidance for foreign candidates. Yes. So in that, they will say everything that you need to know, every document that has to be ready. So you go, it's a downloadable PDF. Sorry, it's a downloadable PDF. You can go through that and see what all are the prerequisites that you have to do before even applying. Yes. So that you'll make ready all these things and you apply it. Then you'll get a message saying your application has been reviewed and you can choose your exam date.
So it looks like, similar to PEBC and, other exams, because in PEBC also you have to send the transcripts from the university and you have to upload all the things similarly. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having a really bad cough.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So I think that's the process. You can go through that foreign candidate guide, which will help you in understanding the process better.
Yes, perfectly fine. Thank you, Dr. Grace, for this. So I have next question from Rosni. She's from Sri Venkateswara College of Pharmacy, Hyderabad. She is asking, how did she prepare herself to be a perfect clinical pharmacist? And what were the main things to focus on to be a successful clinical pharmacist? What is her view on how upcoming pharmacy students should prepare themselves who aspire to be clinical site and BCP?
First of all, I'm not a perfect clinical pharmacist.
Yes. Similar to that, one more question is there from Alice John. She's from Ajitachan College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Trivandrum again. what you need to tell to the students who like to apply for this exam?
You have to see, the thing is, for a person like me who is working in India, nobody has taken this exam from India.
Yes.
But I think you know that my senior who was from a different college, Hisham, Mohammed
Yes.
Hisham had taken this exam, but he took it from UAE.
From UAE,
And
yes.
he was
yes.
working from he was working in Cleveland. The good thing about Cleveland and all that is that they have this group of people who are already certified, and they are there to guide you.
Yes.
But fortunately for me, Hisham Bhaiya guided me throughout, telling me these are the things that you do, these are the, like what I'm telling you right now about this employers thing and all these things. He actually guided me through the process, because initially I had only a slight, like you've heard, there's something called a board certification. That's all. I didn't know anything more than that. So he actually handheld me throughout this period to get the so he used to send me reminders saying this is time for you to start preparing for your exam, time for revision, all these things. He used to do that for me. So I'm very grateful that I had a mentor like that. And for a pharmacist who's working in India, the problem is that you don't have much support because nobody has taken it before you. I mean, that's what at least I felt. Most of my colleagues are my juniors, so they're also wondering as to how to take this, all these things. It's in the back of their minds. So you need to self-motivate yourself that you will do it. I'll tell you one thing, all of you can do it. I'm not saying you might get it in the first attempt. For me, getting this first attempt, it's purely God's grace, because I know that the exam was quite tough. So I don't believe that it is something that I've done. I did my part, but I truly believe that this is God's way of telling me that He's with me. So what you have to do is that you have to keep on motivating yourself, because one major mistake that people do is that break their experience. If you want to do this infectious diseases, you have to make sure that you have this 4 years, and your employer is going to certify that you have this 4 years of experience. So most of my friends who have very good caliber in getting this board certification, 2 years they worked here, 2 years they go abroad, 2 years, then they go into an entirely non-clinical area and lose their experience. That is something that I don't want any of you guys who are planning to take BCPS to do. Okay, if you're planning to take BCPS, make sure you have experience. Without that experience, it's not going to be possible. So that is number one mistake that I've seen with my batch. And then what was the question again, Dr. Ajit?
Yes, question was
how did I prepare?
Yes, how did you prepare?
So yeah, you have to keep on motivating yourself, even though the inner voices will tell you that you're not going to pass, you're not going to pass. Even when I got the mail on the 20th November morning, which said the results are being published, please go and check your portal. I was actually taking the phone and thinking, okay, I'll take a leave because I'm not going to pass. I'll take a leave today and do it. But there will be so many things that are going to bring you down, but keep on thinking only just one thing. You are going to learn a lot of things. So that is the major thing with BCPS. And if you even don't qualify in the first, you can qualify in your second one with good preparation. Okay. I had to study like more than 12 hours a day for this preparation.
Okay, no worries, Dr. Grace. So, okay, guys, so you can write your questions by the time, so she can take 2 minutes break in between. What do you say, guys? You can write your question in chat box, everyone. And we have many more questions. We'll ask her after 2 minutes break.
Just give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. 2 minutes break we'll take. By the time, everyone, you can write your questions, please. Actually, she messaged me in the morning only that she has she's not well, but yes, she wanted to go ahead with this as she's very much courageous.
I think I'll be okay. I just had some water, so I think I'll be okay. So, yeah. And the one thing that I would like to say is that, yeah, how do you prepare? From where do you prepare? I think the question would be more as to from, I think you are muted, Dr. Ajit.
Yes, Dr. Grace. So the next questions are related to this only. There are 4 questions, similar questions, I'll tell. One is from Ved Patel from Gitanjali Institute of Pharmacy. He's asking, what was the preparation protocol for the examination and what are the references which she used for preparations? Next is Toha Afrin from Sonia Education Trust College of Pharmacy, Dharwad, Karnataka. She's asking again the preparation tips, books to refer and experience from your experience. Then Dr. Narendra Padihar from Gitanjali again. He is asking about procedure and reading materials or specific notes. Then Anu Jayamon from TN, Dr. MGR Medical University, Chennai. She is again asking about your study routine and material used.
Okay. So with regard to the material, I would hands down, I would say one thing. The American College of Clinical Pharmacy and the American Society of Healthcare Pharmacists, ASHP and ACCP, they have yearly BCPS material for each course. Like for ID they have, for cardiology they have, critical care they have. So those courses, those materials, which includes PPT video, the audio, the references, the textbook for each chapter, they have it on their website, but you have to purchase that. So how did I purchase it? 4 of us, 4 of my colleagues, like who are planning to take the exam, but we purchased this together because again, this material is going to cost you around $400 to $500. That one material, which includes everything. Please just give me one moment. One second.
Sure. Okay, so I think I should take a few of the questions from chat box. Saron Roja is asking about, do we need any experience to sit in this exam? Yes, we need. As he is telling, it is must to have at least 2 years of fellowship in specialization. Cardiology, if you're going for oncology or if you're going for infectious diseases, 2 years fellowship, PGY1 and PGY2, equivalent to PGY1 and PGY2, or at least 4 years of experience in India with 50% in infectious diseases or in any specialty what you want to go for.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, please, Dr. Grace, go ahead.
So I think my voice won't let me tell so much. So I'll just shorten things up for you guys.
Yeah, sure.
So buy the material, but you can buy it together. One person can buy, the others can share it, because
Yes.
$400 means it's going to cost you around 30,000, 40,000.
30,000.
It would come, but if there are 4 or 5 people who are sharing, it won't come much. You can easily purchase that. And the thing is, you can open it how many times you want, you can open it. So that is a material that to go for. But the major thing I would like to tell you is that don't just go with that material. You have to go through the guidelines, the disease guidelines also. Like for cardiology, you will have ACC/AHA guidelines.
Yes.
So you have to read the guidelines also. So that's where the whole thing comes, because our PharmD, if they taught us the guidelines correctly, we would have done much better. So
Yes.
this time you have to go through the guidelines. You have to go through because these are going to be similar, but make sure that you have the guidelines, you go through the guidelines also. So guidelines plus this material is all you need. That's all. That's what I did, and that's quite enough. I
Okay.
feel that's quite
Great. So I'll take two more questions. What we got from our audience before during the registration. Devi Chandana from Vijaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences for Women is asking journey towards her success, about your journey. And again, from the same college, Vijaya Sainika is asking what are the obstacles occurred regarding the achievement. And Dr. Namita Maria Jacob from Amrita School of Pharmacy is asking about the tips and tricks. So yes, go ahead, Dr.
I'll tell you one trick that actually worked for me. So if I'm learning about one disease, there is so much to learn in that particular disease. The guideline itself is going to be like 12, 40 pages, maybe some guidelines even 80 pages. But there are guidelines. And the material itself is going to be like 70, 80 slides.
Yes.
But you have to get the essence of that material. Because once you start going through the questions, you know what kinds of questions they're going to ask. So make short notes, very short notes. We should include just one paper, one front side and the back. So compile all the essential data into that so that it's easy for you to revise. You don't have to go through the whole thing all over again. So while you're preparing, have that one paper or maximum 2 papers, which you can easily scan through in 5 minutes or 2 minutes.
Yes. That's great. That's great. So I have some more questions from the live audiences. If someone wants to talk and ask their questions, please unmute yourself. Otherwise, I will read the questions. There are many questions. Sonika ma'am, are you here? You can ask your question directly, ma'am. Okay, so she's asking about how can working pharmacy professionals, as in hospital pharmacy, take the exam and how is it useful and helpful?
You mean outside clinical experience?
Hospital pharmacist. But they
Hospital
have
pharmacist has to like, what are they working as? They are working as hospital pharmacists?
Yes.
Not the clinical pharmacist, not going to rounds and all that. Is that?
Sonika ma'am, if you are here, you can ask your question directly and you can talk to her.
I'll just take one thing. I would just tell you one thing. I did the whole thing to improve my knowledge. And if you ask me what are outside of the things like the sterile compounding, the nutrition and all, I won't be able to answer because I was only trying to get the knowledge for infectious diseases.
I think she's asking if it is helpful for the hospital pharmacist who are working, who has a good experience in hospital pharmacy.
That's what maybe okay. You can go for BCPS. I don't know if I don't have an answer as to hospital pharmacists in the sense working in the pharmacy as such.
We are working in the pharmacy. I think, okay, I'll give this anyway.
I think BCPS is something that they can take, I think.
Yes, I think they have the other option of compounded sterile preparations pharmacy, or I think they can go for nuclear pharmacy as well.
But nuclear pharmacy again is a specialty where you have to work in the nuclear pharmacy. You have to work with the radioactive things for the experience to count.
Yes.
I see a question which hospital to go. Whichever hospital, that doesn't matter, will give you the certification saying you have done so much time in this much in this department, whichever department that you want to take, whichever institution that is going to give you that certificate, go for it.
Yes, I think there are many questions from the audience. Afzal is asking what are the university process for BCPS registration. I don't think university just has to provide the transcripts. They have to send the transcripts to the BCPS. Yes. Then Angleshwari is asking, can we do MD pharmacology in India after PharmD? I really don't think so, because for MD you need MBBS in India. Definitely, sure. You cannot do. And I think it is not advisable advice of to go for MD after family in India. I'm very sure. Okay. Okay, so Sarah is asking, hey sir, is only US providing this specialization or any other European country or anywhere else worldwide?
Board certification is the American certification, but if you go to the I think you should all do that. You should go to the BPS, the Board of Pharmacy Specialty website, and
Yes.
there's an option towards the end, find a board certified pharmacist. Okay, just click on that. You will get the country-wise distribution of how many board certified pharmacists are there worldwide. Pakistan has, UAE has, Germany, France, all these, Ireland, I mean, whichever country you take, almost all of them has board certified pharmacists from their
So-
country. But this is the board that certifies them. I don't
Internationally.
think any other board exists which certifies us as board certified pharmacists.
Yes, so this is the website I have shared, bpsweb.org, bpsweb.org. I think this is the.
And that you can see if you can share your screen, maybe I'll.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I think this is the website.
Yeah, just go down and there would be an option to find a.
Here, specialties are here.
Yeah, maybe no. Just click on that BCP specialties itself. Not the ambulatory or anything. Just go down. Just go down towards the end of that. See, popular links towards your right. Find a
Okay,
BPS board certified pharmacist.
Okay.
Just again come down and there is that distribution. So if you take the second one. Second.
Okay, it is taking, I think, okay, yes.
Has come.
Yes, it has come. So all the
So
locations.
you can see that USA, they have state-wise distribution of where they have taken. And if you come down and all these specialties that you can take, it's there. So Algeria, Australia, Austria, Bahamas, Singapore, Spain, Sweden, all these things you can see. Even Pakistan, you can see there. 13 pharmacists are there from Pakistan.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So I think they have not put out, have they put out
India,
India?
yes.
India is there. India is there.
Where is that?
India. Just a bit up.
Okay, yes, one.
So yeah.
Okay.
So you see all across the world, South Africa, Australia, all the continents, they get the board certification from here.
Yes.
So that's why I think it's a big deal for us to get the board certification.
So India has only one certified person in BCPS. This is pharmacotherapeutics, Dr. Grace?
No, it's not BCPS, it's BCIDP. That's me.
No, but they have given in the BCPS. This.
That is India now. I think you're taking India now. Just go down.
Yes. Okay. Yes. BCDIP.
That
Yes.
is
BCIDP. Okay, so India has only one BCP certified yet. Okay.
Many to come. Many will come.
Many will come definitely, of
Yes.
course. Okay, great. So let's go back to the questions. I will stop sharing. And your questions. Okay, where did we leave the questions? Okay, I think we have discussed this. What is the use of BCP in India?
Plus, I
Exactly.
think that
What is the use of BCP in India? I want to know personally.
Actually, I think, what I heard is that in UAE and all, yesterday my friend from Dubai called me. He was saying a pharmacist is usually paid around 1 to 3 lakhs per month there in UAE, in Dubai and all. But if you're a board certified, you easily get more than 5.
Okay.
So there is salary benefit also with BCPS, which is yet to happen for me because I just passed. Definitely that is something that I would also be looking forward to because you are certifying yourself to be a specialist. So definitely monetary benefit is there with the certification, other
Yes,
than creating the knowledge base.
true. Okay. I
And
think
one other thing I would like to add is that these multinational companies like Mayo Clinic, Cleveland, and all that, which are there abroad in the Saudi Arabia or the Arabic nations, they prefer board certified pharmacists than regular pharmacists.
yes.
That
So
is
this is a question from the question from Angleshwari. How much expenditure throughout the journey? So it would be around, as you are telling, 600 for the registration. I mean for the exam, and 400 for the material. So around 1000 USDs. How much you say, Dr. Gresh?
I would say
I think we lost her again for some time. Yes.
hello, sorry. Again, a call came back. Sorry, I got a call in between.
Okay. Okay.
Easily from 75,000 to 80,000. If you're not sharing the material, if you are going to purchase the material all by yourself, easily it would come around 75 to 1, I think. But if you're sharing the material, I think around, anyway, the exam is going to cost you some 45,000. So
Yes.
other than that, if the material, let's say you're you only have to put 10,000, under 60,000, I think it would come. I know it's too much.
60,000
I know it's,
INR. Yes.
yeah, I understand that's quite a lot of money, but if you see the amount of things that you've learned, and once you pass, the amount that you're going to get, it is nothing. The 60,000 is not going to be anything if you look back 2 years after getting certified. It's actually worth it.
Okay, so I think it is not related to internship, because Divya is asking how much hours of experience is needed during the internship. So I think you all need is experience after degree.
Internship is not included.
Internship is not included. Yes. So okay. Criteria we have discussed. What is the importance of passing exam in India? We discussed. Okay, so one more question, I think. Can we give this exam from India?
Yes, I wrote it from Trivandrum. So they have this prometric exam. So I told you, once you apply for your this through your account, once you apply, you submit all the transcripts and everything, they will tell you that it's being reviewed, and it will take around 1 or 2 weeks for them to review your request, and they'll tell you if they have accepted. So if they're saying they have accepted, then you can go to Prometric Center and look for this. You can choose your date, which day you want to write. So usually the window is, I told you, it's nearly 30 to 40 days long window. So for me, it was to take the exam. I had time from August 11th to September 11th. So 1 month I had. So I took, August 20th to October 11th. So nearly 2 months I had.
So it was around 1.5 months.
1.5 months you have. So I took the exam on October 7th because that much time I'll get to study. So I took towards the end.
Exactly. Okay, so I think this is the question out of syllabus from the BPS, but yes, we will take because it's interesting. May I know, Dr. Franklin? Okay, so Franklin Jones is asking, may I know what are the things should I see in a case file, and what is the most important thing a clinical pharmacist should know when it comes to the antimicrobial stewardship?
Could you repeat that question?
May I know what are the things should I see in a case file, and what is the most important thing a clinical pharmacist should know when it comes to the antibiotic stewardship?
The first thing I would tell you is that you should not look anything into the case file first. It is the patient that you have to take care. You should see the patient, talk to the patient. That actually makes the biggest difference. So if you go through the case file, there's no correlation with what the patient is going through. Like your patient has started taking aspirin, clopidogrel, but the patient is actually having so much GRD. So that and all things that will not come in the case sheet. So unless you talk to the patient, there's nothing that you will learn in the case file. When it comes to antibiotics, I would say study the spectrum. You should know which antibiotic covers what, and which that spectrum becomes the base. So I started off studying the spectrum. Each time I saw an antibiotic, I went and checked what all things that, like meropenem, what all thing it will cover, clindamycin, what organisms it will cover. And that sets you the right base. Then on that, you add the doses, the intervals, the renal dosing, and everything.
Yes. Okay, so one more interesting question. Mansi is asking, how significant is the exam if we want to pursue a career in research and development?
To tell you the truth, I myself am planning to go into research. I would like to take a PhD at some point. I don't know whether it's going to be even possible. So that doesn't stop you from getting this knowledge regarding your area of interest. So the more you study, the more you'll know how much, which area you want to do your research and all that thing. So I don't want to take a PhD entirely different from infectious diseases. I would like to take a PhD within infectious diseases, but I think it will never interfere in a bad way, having a board certification and a PhD, because if you're a board certification, that gives so much quality and excellence to your practice. So doing a PhD will never interfere, or research will never interfere with getting this certification.
Yes. I think she was asking about the R&D in industry, maybe, if I'm not wrong.
That then you won't have much benefit, no, because what you are learning is the clinical guidelines. How do you treat a patient? What drugs to give and all that. But if it comes to R&D, I think these will not contribute to the industry, because all you're learning is clinical, and if you are right in industrial, it wouldn't matter much. But PhD, definitely you can.
Yeah, so one question from Masuri. She's asking, I mean, I'm also not sure, but I'll ask you, if she does the 1 or 2 years fellowship from JSS, which is American certified, will she be directly, able to write BCP exam, or again she needs 4 years of experience or
No,
2 years of experience?
If they have the PG Y1 and Y2, you don't have to. If that is a PG Y1 Y2, you don't have to. You can straight away write the exam, but you have to make sure that it is PG Y1 and Y2 that they're offering.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so Sonika ma'am ka question is I wish to get experience in CCU, ICU settings. How can I get it?
Could you repeat that?
He wants to get the experience in CCU and ICUs, critical care unit and intensive care units. So is there any provision for that?
Yeah, you have provision as to related to BCPS. You have a board certification in critical care pharmacy, if that's what you're asking, or if you want to work, then you'll have to work in critical care units to get that experience. I'm not very sure.
What is the example? What is the exam point of view for critical care? You can just tell us. BPS exam point of view.
I didn't get that question actually.
Okay, so we have the specialty. We have the specialty in critical pharmacy as well. So she can give the exam for that, and she can be certified as critical pharmacy.
How would you?
BPS.
How would it help her? Is that what you're asking?
No. She is like, I wish to get experience in critical care unit or ICU settings. How can I get it? That is her question direct.
You'll have to work in critical care units to get the experience. So maybe I'm getting this question very wrong.
Yeah, I really think so. And I think if we talk about the BPS settings, she can go for the critical care specialties. BPS critical care, they provide
You
super
PGY1 in
specialties.
critical care? PGY1 in PGY1 Y2 in critical care? No,
She can go ahead with that also.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I understand the question well.
Okay, and then next question is how do we approach hospital? Okay. Okay. No, I don't think BCP. No. BPSs are also not eligible to start clinic in India. Definitely not, Pooja.
It's a certification organization. They can't start anything in India, but hospitals can apply.
Yes.
For example, Mayo Clinic, Cleveland, and all, which are in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and all that. They have
Yes.
this American ACP certified courses running there. So if you have a mentor, the hospital can apply for mentorship for this PGY1 Y2, which
Yes.
is something that is possible. So if I can apply from Believers for infectious diseases PGY1 Y2, because there's a board certified pharmacist, then those who are coming as students can, I think, go through that.
Okay, so I think I will say no for this question, but can we work without clearing an entrance like NAPLEX in US or PEBC in Canada in other countries after BCPS? I don't think so, because those are the basic exams.
Without the license, they will not allow you to practice.
They will
That's
not
all.
allow you.
These are all
Without
the
the
license
licensing
exams that
exams,
you're
yes.
talking about.
Without licensing,
So
they will not allow you. Yes.
The other thing is, many of them ask me when they say that it's an American board certification, when are you going to the US? I did not write this exam to go to the US. I'm not planning to go anywhere as of now. It's just, I told you, it's just to make sure, it's just to give me the confidence that I wanted to practice as an antibiotic stewardship pharmacist or an infectious disease pharmacist, not to go anywhere.
Okay, Fatima Hassan has a good question. I am working as a clinical assistant come duty doctor after my PharmD. Would it help me as a clinical pharmacist and experience for BCPS?
If your institution can give you the certificate as that you've worked as a clinical pharmacist in this, whichever exam that you want to take, that's fine. As long as your hospital supports you, it doesn't matter.
Okay, Ganachari, I think you can get the full syllabus from the BPS website. Okay, I'm not sure about this also. Can we go for PGY1 and PGY2 in USA after completing PharmD in India? I have no idea. Can you answer, Dr. Grace?
You can, but again, to get the PGY1 Y2, you have to clear the NAPLEX.
Clear the NAPLEX, exactly. You have to clear the NAPLEX.
Clear the NAPLEX, and the biggest challenge for you would be to get selected into the PGY1 Y2, because they'll have like 1 or 2 seats, like the MDDM seats, no? 1 or 2 candidates per hospital they will select per year. So there will be a lot of competition for an international candidate to get in. You have to be very good to get into that, or you should have good recommendations to get you into the PGY1.
Okay, so one more question from Sharon. Does all the BPS certification require 4 years of experience? That I think you can go to the BPS website and check it there. That's very much important. Okay. So do we have any question from the audience, guys?
Yes, I'd like to
if
ask
someone
a
wants to
question.
talk to her.
May I?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hi, Grishtichi. I'm Beena. I'm working as a clinical pharmacist in MIMS, Calicut. So the doubt that I had is, after you write the BCPS, are we benefited in writing any other competitive exams, like, for example, PEBEC or any other NAPLEX? Like, are we benefited by any chance?
No, because I think it's not, because benefited in the sense when it comes to that specialty, like if you study pharmacotherapy, I'm sure that is going to make your life so much easier to answer the NAPLEX or PEBC exams. But the thing is, for licensure, you'll need all these, including the medicinal chemistry and all that thing. You have to learn and get. You have to pass all that, no, for getting the license.
Yeah,
So that is one aspect to it, but I'll tell you the other aspect that I think is possible. If you clear the NAPLEX,
Mm-hmm.
usually you work as a pharmacist.
Yeah.
You work as a community pharmacist, all that. But if you have a board certification, I think that puts you straight into the clinical pharmacist realm.
Yeah,
Yes.
true that. So not having a residency itself would help us, right? Just by board certification. Is that what you mean?
If you're board certified, it doesn't matter which criteria you have taken. That doesn't mean, see, even if you see, there are clinical pharmacists with 15 years experience, 20 years experience who are still writing the exam. They don't go through the PGY1 Y2. They go with that 4-year experience thing to as the eligibility criteria. So it doesn't matter whether you have done the residency or not, as long as if you're a board certified pharmacist, I think that puts you straight into the clinical pharmacy level.
So you
And
mean to say
BPS
that
is a
board
super
certification?
specialization. BPS is a super specialization, so it won't help in PBC or NAPLEX because they have 13, 14 subjects.
Got it. Also, now that I have a doubt is that after having board certification, that has more value than a residency, right? Is that what you mean?
I think so. I would definitely think that way because it is something that you take after your residency. So yes, it should definitely give you that benefit.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Chichi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else, guys?
Yeah. Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Franklin. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
I'm
you
working
are
as a
not audible. Yes.
ma'am. I'm working as a clinical pharmacist in Chennai, but I just need a tip, ma'am. Nearly in India, we are seeing around 50 to 60 cases per day, ma'am. Is it possible to go and see? It is not possible to go and see every patient. Hello?
I didn't get
Ma'am,
that.
sorry.
What do you see? 50 to 60?
Ma'am. Here actually we are assigned for 50 cases nearly for every day, ma'am, to verify case files for
As a
drug
pharmacist. As a pharmacist.
is it possible? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Here we will get around every day. We'll see around 40, at least 40 to 50 cases. Is there any tip to see a patient? It is not possible to see every patient on a single day. Is it any tip for a follow up for a patient? Like because here we didn't get a chance to see a patient or like that. Mostly what everyone will usually they'll see just a case file only. So is there any tip, ma'am, to just how to interact with the patient or how can we approach a patient from as a clinical pharmacist?
Hello, can you hear me? I think it would depend on what you want to, like if you're working, then you'll have to submit certain things to the department, right? As a documentation saying you have to see these many patients in a ward. That is like mandatory for you guys, you know?
Oh,
So the documentation part, because you're employed, you are expected to see that many cases. But I don't know what they want you to do in that 50 cases, what you're supposed to bring out. Is it the ADR? Is it the medication error? Is it...
So as I'm understanding,
usually
he's asking
yes.
like, in India, clinical pharmacists, because, hospitals, they don't hire many pharmacists, a
Yes.
very few, only for the name sake, only for the certificate sake and yes sake or, next sake. So he's asking that the workload is really too much. So like they are, seeing 30 or 40 cases or 50 cases per day. So how to tackle that situation? I really feel that this is his question.
How
I
to
mean,
tackle
Yes,
that?
yes, ma'am.
How do we tackle that?
Or else,
yes, as per
I
your
can fix at
experience.
least 5 patient. Whether I should fix something 5 patient for regular follow up or like that something. This
Yeah, I think what I tell my see whenever we are wanting to start. See, we have started the ICU taking ICU patients cases for antibiotic stewardship from like last week. We restarted the whole thing after COVID. So what I told them is that don't take all the patients at a stretch.
Yes.
You take like we started on Monday. So I told them from Saturday who all got admitted, you go and take those cases. Before that, you just leave for the time being. And once you take a good, like if you are saying you're having 5 cases that day, from Saturday till Monday, you have 5 or 10 cases. You take that 10 cases in detail, and the next day, it's going to be only 2 or 3 patients that you have to add on, and you'll only have to review these 10 cases. You don't have to go through this thing all over again. You know, while you're seeing a patient, like when you're seeing a patient, tomorrow what is going to happen to that patient, right? So you just have to review that. So it makes easier for you to just keep adding on small numbers of patients daily, rather than to go through every file on a daily basis. When you're taking a case, take it from the scratch, take it in detail. So the next day it becomes so much easier for you to just go through that case. I think that would be the most
Yes,
thing I
and
could
if you really have,
Thank you.
such the workload, so many patients can definitely choose the patients based on their severity and based on their priority, and how they are, where they're actually admitting, either to the emergency wards or to the critical care units or ICUs. Then based on that, you can give priority to the patient. Mild and moderate cases, you can see, once you have time, but give your priority to the patient with severe conditions.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions, or shall we wind up? I think we
Yes, sir.
exceeded the
One
time.
last question. Yeah, just one, and
Okay,
it's a
Dipesh,
very
please ask.
basic question,
Yeah.
ma'am, if I'm allowed to.
yes,
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
so
please.
yeah, just it's just out of curiosity, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult would you rate the entrance exam for BPS?
I would have to rate it 10 out of 10, I think. See,
And
I'll tell you
ma'am,
one thing. I'll tell you one thing. See, I started preparing for the boards maybe for 3 months prior, or 3.5 months prior to the exam date that I was planning to take. So I divided that into like this many days I'll spend in the CVS, this many in CNS. Like that, I had a time where I would split it, and I would set aside some time for revision. So because if I tell you, initially after completing the whole first round, they have a mock exam on there. When you're purchasing the material, they have a mock exam. And even though I felt so confident that I've learned so much, when I took the mock exam, I failed. First time I failed. And it was so heartbreaking to me, because after learning so much, it was difficult. But in a way, that was a good thing, because I had enough time to revise it over and over again. And I think I revised it 3 times because of the short notes that I told you. For meningitis, I'll have 1 page of the most important data that I need to learn. So it would take me only like 10 minutes to go through this thing. So it actually helped me like 3 times. I think I revised before this exam, and I think that actually made the difference. If at all my effort has to do anything with passing the exam, revising just 1 round will not be sufficient. You have to, because it's all the memory that you have because they are going to ask you. See, the problem with BCPS exam, I'll tell you the problem with BCPS exam. They'll have a long case, as I told you, and the question that they have, if you see the 4 answers, all those 4 answers seems quite right.
Yes.
But the major problem is that out of that 4, 2 are actually right answers. 2 of these answers are actually correct. But which is the most correct is the one you have to choose. So that's where it gets very tough, because even if you've tried to learn very in depth, if you can't identify best, because I told you both of them are correct, but you have to choose the best one. That's why the BCPS, I feel it's quite difficult. So I think I would rate it 9 or 10 itself.
Yes, no, I think many of the questions, I mean, all of the questions are answered. But before that,
Hello,
I
ma'am.
have 2 very important questions. Okay, who wants to talk? Divya. Divya, just wait for a minute. I will just, got 2 more questions from the registrants. And I think these are very important. So what are the hurdles you have gone through, Dr. Grace, in clearing this exam? We did not talk about the hurdles and, the problems you faced actually.
The biggest problem I faced for this exam, I think, was getting the transcripts. I told you that was one thing. The second thing was the short-term memory that I had to have. Because no, I'm not joking. See, you have to have a very good memory to see when the
yes,
question
true.
5 questions to answer. Oh, I didn't say the question. You have 175 questions, and the exam length is like 5.5 hours. In between, you get 30 minutes. You can go anywhere you want. So initially, they'll have 150 questions. Then they'll have, I think, initially they'll have 110 questions, and then they'll have 60 questions. Like that, they have a pattern. So, so these questions, and you're given, I think you have adequate time if you know the answers well. If you know the answer, it's in one click, you'll just tuck, you'll do. But if you don't know the answer, you'll just be with that one question that will take forever and ever to answer. But the good thing is that you can come back and do it. It's not like once you did, you can't change the option or anything. You can finalize before submitting, and you can even flag a question while you're writing the exam that you think that I don't want to spend too much time right now. I want to fill the other questions, and I don't think I've given the right answer for this question. You can flag it. So at the end of that session, you can see the flag questions. If you have spare time, you can go and see again which one to answer and all that. So the hurdle, if you know the answer, that's fine. If you don't know the answer, that's it. Then again, the problem would be, what did I face?
Okay, so related to this only, I will ask, is there any negative marking, or do we have to give 100%?
We don't have any
answers?
negative marking. That is a good thing. So the mark that you need, see, there are 175 questions, but they give different weightage to different questions. It's not like the maximum mark that you can get is 800. It's not like 800 divided by 175. For each question, they will mark according to the difficulty level.
Okay.
So your passing mark has to be at least 500 out of 800. That is 62%. 62% is the passing rate. Anything, even if you get 501, you're pass. So that is the other thing. Based on the difficulty, I think they weigh the question and they'll give you the marks. So the hurdles, the other hurdles, see, I would say that I had a very, very supportive hospital with me, with the best director I can ever work with my best, not my best, my husband, who actually gave me, like, see, I took that 1 month off. 1 month off, I did not cook, I did not do anything. He only asked me, you just do whatever you have to, you just study. So I think if you have good support, and if I didn't have that 1 month full off, maybe it would have been difficult for me to spend so much time, because after, if let's say, for example, 8 to 5 o'clock you work, after you come home, if you're planning to study, it will be very tiring for you. If you're planning to do that, I would say minimum 6 months prior you have to start preparing, if you're not planning to take that break there. So I had good support. So I don't know whether hurdles as such, except from my part, from my
I think that's fine.
May I ask one question?
Yes, please.
Yes, please, Shraddha.
Yes, so like in India, we do have PG Y1 and Y2 after PharmD if you want to do. So like, is it better to go for PG Y1 and Y2 or for the 3 years or 4 years experience?
I would definitely say PG Y1, Y2, because see, the experience that you get, if you, let's say for an example, you're working in a hospital, like an antibiotic steward or in infectious diseases, where you're seeing the ICU patients and everything. The problem is you're not getting exposed to the units like the HIV, the outpatient therapy, outpatient antimicrobial therapy, the hepatitis C, hepatitis B, C, tuberculosis, all those things. If you're not getting exposure while you're only spending your time with antibiotics, that gives a big gap. So because there are so many antifungals, there is one major chunk was this hemopoietic stem cell transplant, the transplant patients, the infections that they have. So if you're having a PG-Y1, Y2, I'm sure they'll rotate you through all these, like how we do our internship, no? Like general medicine this many months, pediatric this many months. So like that in PG Y1, Y2, they will rotate you through all these things so that you see the cases, because when you see cases, things stay in your mind. So I would definitely say if you have a provision for PG Y1, Y2, go for it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Good
Any other
evening,
question?
ma'am.
We will take just
Yes.
two more questions. Two more questions because it's 1.5 hours. I think we exceeded. Yes, please, Divya, go ahead.
Yes, sir, I have a question that more than 48,000 students has been selected from, graduates has been selected from US. And what is the factor that Indian graduates aren't getting into BPS certification? Is that any specific
What
factor
you should
from
understand,
US?
see, what you should understand is that pharmacy, this PharmD thing, was established in the US 50 years back, in 1950, not more than 50, 60 years back, they established this one. Okay, so I belong to the second batch in India. I belong to the 2009 batch. 2008 was the first batch. So see, we didn't have good teachers to teach us. We didn't have board certified people to teach us as to what we are supposed to learn, right? But in America, they have that. Their preceptors are spot on. They will teach them what they have to practice. They will ask you the questions during your, it's not the doctors that you're rotating with, no, you're the pharmacists you're rotating with in America. So I think that gives them a big advantage that even if they're learning the theory in class, they're able to apply it in practice when it comes to their rotation, which we don't have in our internship. But eventually, if you see, if I'm sure more like lot of board certified pharmacists are going to come in the coming years. And once they start to teach people, if I have a person with me, I'll teach them what are the essential things. I will not teach them some rubbish that they have to uh, uh, listen to, right? So once you have that system in, I'm sure like every year you'll have so many people coming in for the board certification.
Okay, ma'am, in that
Yes,
case,
thank
if
you.
we utilize, sir, one more question. In that case, if we utilize all 4 years of experience or PGY1 and Y2 specifically for the certification, it would be more easy, no, ma'am?
100%. If you can do that, it will be like you don't even have to wait for the last day of exam. You can take the first day of exam, the first window, whenever it's open, you can take it because that's the confidence that you get if you are able to practice it that way. So if you are able to do that, 100%.
Yes, exactly. Saida Farjin wants to ask something, but I think Saida, we cannot take your question right now because this is not related to BPS, and this session is exactly related to BPS. But I would like to, you can ask this question personally. We can answer definitely. Okay, so her question is actually after the 6 years of course of PharmD, what are we supposed to do? We can discuss it later, definitely. Okay, right now we will not take this question. But it's a very good question for the
One thing I would tell you is that I came across the pharmacotherapy research, that a material that you study for pharmacotherapy. I came across that material recently, and even when I did the BCIDP, the infectious disease material that I had, that's all I need for my clinical practice. So if you as a college ask your pharmacy practice HOD to buy the pharmacotherapy at least once, and if you can only learn that, that puts you in like 100 times better clinical knowledge than you'll ever gain. All you have to do is learn that, because that tells you what you need to know as a clinical pharmacist. So if possible, tell your teachers, your pharmacy practice HODs, that you want the pharmacotherapy material. And see, there are 30 students in each batch. Each one can take one topic. They can learn and they can take a presentation. That's all you need. You do that in your clinical practice, you are done. I think that's the only way ahead. If you want to work in the US level after PharmD, that is what you have to do. The easiest way to me.
Yes. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for joining. If you have any questions, you can send us in our email, okay, or you can ask us in our WhatsApp. You all are associated with our groups, CliMed group, so you can ask your questions in any group. We will, convey to Dr. Grace and get your answer. Because we asked her for 45 minutes and now it is almost double. It is 1.5 hours. So we have to take a leave. Thank you very much, Dr. Grace, for joining us and answering the questions of our participants. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll take off now. Thank you, Dr. Grace.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I
Thank
wish
you, everyone.
all
Thank
of you
you,
that were listening to this will take the board certification as soon as possible.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Take care and good night, guys. Take care.